Mama's in the living room watching Judge Judy. I'm in the kitchen eating leftover sushi. And she yells, oh, girl, you gotta hear this one. A man was arrested for running a theme park. And when they said, where's your license? He said, my dog ate it. Oh, you can't make this shit up. Sometimes I wonder if life's just one big cosmic joke. It's like she's on a Reddit, reading r/funny lawsuits, yelling from the couch. As she sips on a Prosecco, makes fun of all the weirdos, and then I hear her shout. It's like she's on a Reddit, reading r/funny lawsuits, yelling from the couch. As she sips on her Prosecco, makes fun of all the weirdos, and then I hear her shout, girl, you gotta hear this one. Mama loves to laugh at how absurd life is, says it's all a comedy and I'm her audience. And I love the way she makes fun of the world. She said, you'll never guess what's with their girlfriend. It was a man who didn't get us out of the bed. He said, I've been through hell and now I need some help. You just can't make this shit up. You just can't make this shit up. Sometimes I wonder if life's just one big cosmic joke. It's like she's on a Reddit, reading r/funny lawsuits, yelling from the couch. As she sips on a Prosecco, makes fun of all the weirdos, and then I hear her shout. It's like she's on a Reddit, reading r/funny lawsuits, yelling from the couch. As she sips on a Prosecco, makes fun of all the weirdos, and then I hear her shout, girl, you gotta hear this one.
Hey everybody, quick trigger warning. This case is difficult. It does involve the tragic death of a newborn infant. So I understand this case isn't for everybody. If it's not for you, Snipe Hunter for one, I understand. Please hit that like button and we will see you on the next one. That isn't so hard. And let me adjust this freaking camera because Lord knows I was drinking last night. So it does, it is a very difficult case. And if you've been following another channel, specifically Mo, and you've been watching the Tanner Horner, and now you've come here for this on the weekend, it's time to day drink. Just saying. So I was sent this case by, I call him my researcher. He is a very good friend of this channel and one of my OGs and my little brother, Flash fan. And I've been meaning to cover it for a while, but it's difficult. So like every opportunity that I literally had to, oh, my teeth hurt. They really did hurt. But like, I wasn't about to put effort into this case when I wasn't feeling my best. So this is a very hard case. So everybody's been reacting to headlines, but we have the documents and some hearings. The defense is already trying to suppress key evidence, such as a confession. And if that confession gets thrown out, this case could look very different. We are not going to look into every single document because some are just procedural and not a waste of time, but just not important enough to move the story forward. So that is why we're not going through every single doc. But, however, we do have bond hearings and we do have some body cam footage. So if you are new here, we stick to the documents and the videos. We don't do a lot of conjecture unless it's based on the documents. We don't do the drama. So if you're subscribed, please hit that like button. If you are not subscribed, please consider subscribing. It'll really help my channel. We are somehow trying to make it to 5K. However, on the drama side, there has been some drama circulating around with some people that tried to take down my channel last year and called me, like, saying that I was threatening them and tried to start drama. and I no longer talk to a bunch of people because of it. And I am not going to get into the specifics of what's being said, what's going around. If you know, you know. All I can say is the people who turned their back on me because I was the one being dramatic, or I was the one who was enforcing boundaries that were just too extreme by eliminating everybody and saying, don't talk to me anymore. I told you so. I told you so. I'm sorry that it took a year and 2 months to be able to see the asshattery for yourself. However, I told you so. It's almost like I saw this shit over a year ago and I said, peace out, I'm done. And y'all couldn't fucking see it for yourselves. Karma's a bitch and she always keeps receipts. Just saying. Yep, she is right there. She's eating her snack. So I'm going to have ants all over my house. I see a creeper behind you. Yeah. Thanks, Straight. Saw it then too. Yep. Oh, some people did and some people didn't. And people I thought were my friends did not. And I no longer talk to those people or that person. And one of those people is the only person blocked from my channel because of it. However, you know, the important ones is the indictment and the motion to reinstate original bond. Yeah, it's yes, and this is one where we are going to take it slow. This is going to be a rough one. So I have all these documents saved. Oh, and the reason I am late, I originally wanted to stream at 2. However, Mr. Squid is working overtime this weekend, so he's not able to stay up late and game after the little goes to bed. So he was in here gaming, and I always try to not force him out of the office because I am loud, I am obnoxious, and when I get in here, he tends to leave because he likes his quiet when he games. So I did I did want to wait until he was done naturally and not force him out of the office because, you know, I'm not that big of a, contrary to popular belief and my upfrontness, I don't go out of my way to be a jerk, especially to him. You know? How's our new truck? I love it. I love it. Yeah, hey, we get it. Let Mr. Squid finish. Yeah, I let him finish his game and like naturally leave the room and go do something else versus like forcing him out. And hey, Amos girl, how are you? Yeah, we're gonna get to that too. I'm sitting back here laughing because I took the blame for a bunch of shit last year that I had absolutely nothing to do with. Everything was my fault, Spawn's fault, or Radiss's fault. And what the other two did, I don't know. I don't ask. However, I know that I had nothing to do with it because I didn't want to waste my time. So to just watch the karma finally catch up to things is it's one of those situations where I am just sitting back and laughing because I didn't do anything to control karma. I didn't have nothing to do with this. So we are going to, I didn't have anything to do with it. I'm just laughing, grabbing my popcorn, grabbing a drink, and sitting back and watching the shit show. Fucking hilarious. All right. And I did download all these, but instead of trying to find a different FlashBand sent me a lot of docs. So substitution of counsel, notice of appearance. We're going to start with defendant's demand for discovery and the indictment. Oh no. Somebody, oh no. I love karma. I love karma. Yeah, but it's just the thing of how much channel growth did lying about me and spreading rumors that I was threatening people. I mean, these people had a damn from what I was told, I don't know, because it takes caring to actually like investigate and see for sure. But I was told that Georgie had a dossier on me to look for evidence that I was stalking them. Girl, you have to actually give a shit about you to stalk you. And I could care less. What you do is hilarious because you're melting down on the internet. However, not my problem. Not my problem. I'm just grabbing my popcorn and watching the shit show ensue. And it's quite funny. But I really would like an apology because I lost a friend and her quote was, quote unquote, "We were your friends." Talking about her and Georgie. You want to rethink that one now? Because I really hate to say I told you so, but I told you so. But I was the dramatic one. Fucking hilarious, ain't it? And don't get me wrong, I have my dramatic moments, but I have my moments. However, I don't steal content from people. Oh yeah, that was also a rumor. Georgie was telling people that I was stealing content. Like, from who? I had a channel before you, and I have 2 channels now, none of which have anything to do with you. Just the weirdness. Like, I've kept all this shit to myself because at the end of the day, it didn't really matter, but fuck, man. Dude, you are dramatic. Dramatic for no reason. Yes, not my circus, not my monkeys. But I will laugh. Yes. Squid took a hit from the idiot. Some people left. Some people came back. Some are very embarrassed. And you know what? If you're embarrassed, like, fine. But an apology goes a long way with me. Like, even freaking only me apologized for talking about my daughter and my parenting skills. And you don't have to like only me if you know who that is. However, the fact that he apologized and said, I'm sorry, I didn't, know much about you when I said that in a public chat, totally, like, I hold no ill will towards people who apologize. An apology goes a long way. What gets me is for them to talk about your child family life, but only say one truth about you. I don't know. All I can say is if everywhere you go, there's drama, maybe it's not other people. Just a thought. If everywhere you go and every group of people you interact with, there is drama, maybe other people are not the problem and it's time to look in the freaking mirror. Just a thought. Hey, despite my hay fever and asthma, I feel like I can breathe freely now. My other half is... Yes! Let's see if I can do it. If I can do it. Sometimes I make it work. Sometimes I don't. I do it on accident. There we go. This time I actually did it and it was intentional. Hell yeah. Cancer free is freaking awesome. Pop that champagne. I mean, don't, cheers to you. Oh my God, that's awesome. That just made my day. That's one things I like about Squid. She doesn't stoop to their level and attack. It's not worth it. It's just not worth it. Like, it's just not worth it. That's why I just glance now, because it seems you say one thing and they threaten to sue, even if you're a supporter of the channel. They just don't like what you say. And there's times when I vehemently disagree with the people who are in my chat talking to me. And we just go, there's sometimes Spawn is on this channel. And I'm like, I think you're completely and totally wrong and out of your freaking mind. But have a nice day. I'll talk to you tomorrow. And like, or I say moving on and we're good to go. Like, you can disagree with someone and still be respectful. My thought process is always, if you always agree with someone 24/7, you are either brainwashed or stupid, because nobody agrees all the time. Mr. Squid and I don't agree all the time. Obviously, she thinks I'm crazy half the time and says no all the time. But sometimes what's best for us isn't what we want to do. But that being said, we don't always agree. Like, he's not here right now. This case isn't for him. But Snipe Hunter and I had a disagreement about yesterday's case that we talked about. Yeah, if you didn't check out yesterday's stream, I will link it in the description below and you can check it out afterwards. Mr. Beast is being sued. It dropped on Wednesday. We had an adamant disagreement about how to look at the allegations in that lawsuit, but I don't hate him for it. I don't think any less of him for it. We just disagree. It's just shit. I can't even agree with myself 24/7, right? Right? There's a difference between what I actually do and what I should do. That is an internal disagreement. Yeah. I respect you, and we're completely opposites sometimes. Yeah, on paper, if you go by the mainstream media and the mainstream, like, talking points, Slash Fan and I should not be friends. We are different ages, we are different genders, we are different races, we are different everything. But we're friends. So it's just a weird... It's just a... Yeah, what? Don't you watch the news? If you pull a tissue out of the box differently, you can't have a civil description. I know, right? Yeah. Exactly. Like, it's, you know what happens when you're offended by something? 9 times out of 10, absolutely freaking nothing. The world keeps turning. Life goes on. Not a damn thing happens because you're offended. Just suck it up, Buttercup. If you don't like a certain channel, turn the channel. If you don't like a certain person's page on Facebook, don't flip through their page. It seems like common sense, but everybody's got to have a reason to be outraged. I just don't understand. Yeah. Different races. He runs the 5K and you run a marathon. No, it'd be more like him running a marathon and me running like a 200-meter dash and dying. All right, so we are going to get into these documents now that we've got our 15 minutes of obligatory beat crap. I'm a white gay man in my mid-30s. A lot of my friends are older women of color, age, race, gender, no bearing on how I treat people. Yes, they treat people as others as they treat me. And there are some people who come in this chat who I don't like. To me, like Flux. I was on a stream with Flux last night. She's my girl. Obviously, I'm straight. She's not. But it's one of those things of like, I don't care. I think people get offended when certain people say this. I don't care who you sleep with. And I don't mean it as in like, I don't care. Like, it's just not important to me. Who you choose to love is a you thing. It has no bearing on my life. It has no effect on how I operate my day-to-day business. Like, that's between you and whoever, and whatever you choose to do behind closed doors ain't none of my business. It is not my place to judge anything. Just stay away from kids. That's all I ask. Just stay away from kids. Then it gets, when you push adult decisions on people under the age of 18, I get a little offended by that. But other than that, what you do as a consenting adult ain't none of my damn business. And to think otherwise is weird to me. When people are like, when people try to tell others how to think or push what they think on either side of the aisle onto other people, I'm just like, leave me the hell alone. You live your life, I live mine. We may be friends, we may not be. You do you, boo boo. It's all good. Like, well, there's a difference between interacting with kids and pushing adult ideas onto children. And you know the difference. Like, you know what I mean. It's like when I was in school, 2 of my teachers in high school were married. We didn't even know they were married. Like, that was never, like, I'm pretty sure looking back, I had some teachers that were gay. The thought never occurred to me because the sexual orientation of my teachers was not important to history class. Like, it just wasn't important. What they did outside of school was none of my business. And because I was a child, talking about adult topics with me in anything other than a health and anatomy class was not appropriate. And I just wish we could go back to that, you know? That's what I, you know. Yes, let them form their own opinions and views. Like, it's one of those things where, like, let them be kids, and kids will come to certain conclusions about certain things on their own. Let them develop those feelings naturally, whichever way they go. You know, if I had a son and he wanted to play with a Barbie, whatever. He do what he do, but I'm not gonna tell him that he has to play with the Barbies because it's 2026. Let the kid do what he wants. I didn't even know my teacher left the school. I lived at the school. One of my friend's dad was the principal of my middle school. So, like, I knew they left school. But 2 of my teachers in my high school were married, and we didn't even realize it until we saw them, like, leave school one day. And I think I ran into them at the grocery store, and then I put it together that they had the same last name, and it finally made sense. But I was, like, 16 before I figured it out. Yeah. Exactly. All right. Finally getting to the topic at hand now that we've, you know. So this is the state of Florida in Flagler County versus Anne Mae DeMiglio or DeMigillo. Yeah. Spring 2026 term grand jury for Flagler County, impaneled and sworn. These are the counts that she is being charged with. And this is where it gets a little triggering. First degree unaliving. She is accused on or about March 5th in the county of Flagler, state of Florida. Premeditated, designed to affect the unaliving of a human being, Jane Doe, an unnamed infant, while engaging in the attempt to perpetrate an aggravated child abuse. And furthermore, said unlawful killing was perpetrated by an act imminently dangerous to Jane Doe. An evidence of depraved mind, regardless of human life. I mean, just unlawfully and by culpable negligence. And I'm going to skip through this because we're not going to read this word for word, because reading this will get this stream demonetized because I am saying the unaliving word way too many times in such a not just a baby, her newborn. Yep. No, Brand, like, gave birth in a bathroom, drowned, threw the baby away type of situation, allegedly. Didn't even, and then went to a theater production, allegedly. I feel like we've seen this before. Aggravated child, this word, March 5th, 2026, willfully abused Jane Doe, an unnamed infant, and doing so caused great bodily harm, permanent disability, or disfigurement, or did willfully torture and maliciously punish, or willfully unlawfully cage Jane Doe, an unnamed infant, first-degree felony. Yeah, peculiar. This is a rough one. This is the rough one. Failure to report the death of a person with intent to conceal the death or alter the evidence or circumstances surrounding such death. Refuse to report the death of Jane Doe, or report such death to the medical examiner or law enforcement having jurisdiction over the location, and did so with intent to conceal such death, to alter evidence or circumstances surrounding a third-degree felony. So that was that. So that is what she is being charged with. Yeah. And I just have to return a message really quick. Yeah, this is Florida, so this might be a I have a thing on this channel with either parents who unalive their children or children who unalive their parents. I don't know how we got started on that. However, yeah. Hey, Christine, how are you? I became a member to your channel. Thank you so much for that. I just have to return this message real quick. All right, so the next document we have is, let's see, just a procedural, and I always show this. It is procedural. It happens in every case, but this is one of those things that sometimes we don't really see it, or we don't really know it unless we see it. So yeah, it was Carly Gregg's fault. Speaking of Carly Gregg, May 27th, I have to look at my calendar. May 27th, she has a oral arguments in front of the Mississippi Supreme Court. We will be streaming it live. It is a Wednesday morning. Hey, Pop Squid, how are you? Blame Flash fan. It's something that needed to be returned, you know. Yeah. So the defendant's demand for discovery, it's procedural, but undersigned attorney demands all discovery required pursuant to Brady v. Maryland. Brady, we don't want any Brady violations, because Brady violations is what happened in the New Mexico situation with Rust and Alec Baldwin, and why his case was dismissed. Because the prosecutor had a Brady violation. And because she screwed up, that case got dismissed. That was the first ever major trial that I streamed. So because of that, we had to... There's also a motion to declare her indigent because she's a college student. We don't need to read that. Everybody knows what indigent is at this point. I stand behind Alec Baldwin, never in front. She did a massive face plant. Yeah. I know you're the only one who would ever think about covering it. I don't like it, but these cases need attention. Yeah, it is one of those situations where it is very hard to cover. I have a problem though, because I worked in healthcare and I saw and got used to so much death. I mean, when you work with elderly, then you work in intensive care units and you work on acute care, you get pretty familiar with people around you not being around very much longer. With that being said, because of that, I am pretty comfortable with talking about death, unfortunately, which is kind of a sad reality to think about. But like, I don't feel like it affects me like it could. And sorry, I just had to do a little redaction on this because it had her address on it, and I just wanted to make sure that I think you have PTSD over your job. I just think I'm like, you can even ask my dad. Going back a few years, my dad and my grandfather made me my grandmother's power of attorney because I had the ability to not think with emotion, even though she was my grandmother, kind of a situation. I was more rational, almost to a fault. So I kind of feel like I take that into this as well. I'm rational to a fault. Sometimes it's like, I'm a little too. Why the state of Florida doxing her? I don't know. Yeah, I built up a tolerance. All right, so this is the charging affidavit. Charges refused to provide relevant information for death investigation, aggravated child, the A word, and unaliving in the first degree, premeditated. Oof. Good afternoon. It's good chat late getting here, so I'm catching up. It's sad we have these cases to speak on, but to me, these are realities of this country, and I believe people need to know. Yeah, and it's kind of one of those situations of maybe if we talk about it more, we might be able to figure out why this is happening. I feel like if we keep it under wraps and we don't say that these things are happening, we get I'm shocked Cap. Well, yeah, April 6th at 5:45, Flagler County Sheriff's Office Fugitive Apprehensive Unit served a warrant at the Flagler County inmate facility located at that address because she had an active felony warrant. You want up? Okay. So he had a body cam. Oh my goodness. Hold on. So 2026, that case number, state filed indictment on first degree unaliving, no bond. Child abuse, bond $25K, failure to report death of a person with intent to conceal, bond $5K, extradite nationwide. I would make contact with Anne at the front lobby of the Flagler County inmate facility and place her in hand restraints without incident. So we are going to, I believe I have that one. And Paul said hi. Hi. Discord. This one. Oh, I swear we have, or part of that body cam. Hold on. So we're not gonna watch this whole thing, but this is part of her arrest. Come on, come on, come on. It's pretty hard working with one hand, right? Can I turn this down? All right. This is her I don't have my overlay anymore. But this is her come on, come on, come on. There we go. Where I cover up. See right there. Stop. Grandpa says stop twisting your hair. Grandpa says stop twisting your hair. Grandpa says stop twisting your hair. This is her body cam footage.
We'll make this as easy as we can for you, okay? Oh, okay. All right. Yeah.
So your obviously your wrists are super small, so obviously just don't try to slip them right like that, okay?
Yeah, we're good. Just cooperate. We'll get the ankles off. We just have to go. Okay.
All right, we're gonna head
gonna
out.
walk around and we're just gonna bring her around the other way. Okay.
So this is Demagillo with who appears to be her mom by her side, turning herself in at the Flagler County Sheriff's Office. You can see that she kind of shrugs, has a little bit of a smile on her face, it seems, as law enforcement put her in handcuffs. Now, police have said that they have found her to be, in their words, oddly calm throughout this case.
She did seem like, look at her face. There's no like tears. There's no agitation. There's no anxiety. There's no, like, you don't have to be a body language expert. And body language is one of those weird things where people say they're experts. The jury's still out. But like everybody knows there's universal things. You have faces. You make expressions. Everybody knows when you're angry. You make a facial expression, and people know when you're angry. People know when you're tense. People can see when you're upset. Like, body language or lie detection is one thing, but like, you have these universal emotions. Everybody knows a smile means you're happy or you're excited. There is no emotion here. She has the flattest affect for someone who's being arrested that I have ever seen in my entire life. This is, completely passé. You think she looks confused? I don't think she looks confused. I just think that she just looks like she's just calm, and like even sitting in the car, she's just like
Initially,
like
he
putting her in the
allegedly
car.
did was premeditated.
I'm gonna mute his voice because I also don't want to be hit by law and crime, but like look at, she's just
And then the hospital is gonna have bigger pads for you as well, so we don't have to worry about these little ones, okay?
Yeah, we'll switch them out. I'll get you some.
Initially, Demagillo was charged with aggravated.
I mean, just this like random, just whatever, no big deal, it's fine. What? Like you're being accused of unaliving, and she's pretty small. So here's the other thing. How do you conceal a pregnancy? So she is being charged with, and we looked at the charging documents a few minutes ago. She is being charged with, let me open up the first degree unaliving, aggravated child abuse, and failure to report the death of a person with intent to conceal. And they're calling this baby Jane Doe because this was a baby girl. This was a newborn baby girl. When I say newborn, I mean like fresh out the womb, not like a week old, not like a day old. we're talking like hours old. It's pretty it's a pretty bad one. This is yeah, we're going to watch her first hearing. Yeah, she didn't have a name yet. I don't think she ever had a name. Like Baby Squid, she had a name well before she was born. I don't think this little baby ever had a name, because I don't think her mother ever wanted her. And this goes back to one of the things that makes this case so important and so we need to talk about it is you will hear a lot of people try to make this political. And when I say that, I mean Florida has very strict laws on a certain medical procedure that is used for elective purposes these days. So you will potentially hear a lot of people try to make excuses for this mother because of the fact that she might not have wanted this baby and maybe might have wanted to medically get rid of her pregnancy. I'm not going to say that word because I don't want YouTube to flag my channel. They have been demonetizing a lot of people, so I am walking on eggshells a little bit more than normal lately. However, I don't think so. That I know of, I don't have that information yet. That's another thing. But I think this is why that right there is another thing. This is why where I want to cover this is because we cover the facts and we don't make it political when it could easily, there's people in this world that make everything political. Even when it doesn't need to be. So, it's here is her first hearing. I hate when it opens up on this monitor when I click over here and I'm like, eh. All right. Come on. Ooh, that's weird. StreamYard must have updated and it just looks funny. So if you see me like looking at things weird, it's like, oh, that's just in a different place than normal and that just looks funny. So here we go.
Yes.
All right. Ms. DeMaggio, you may come up to the podium. Your attorney's present by Zoom, so he is here. I have Mr. Urbanic for the state. And I know we were originally set for an arraignment, but we now have a first appearance. Is that your understanding, gentlemen?
Yes.
Yes, Your Honor.
All right. And so I have reviewed the indictment. I do find probable cause as to all three charges. Those charges I've got, the first is first-degree murder, aggravated child abuse, and refuse to provide relevant information for a death investigation. That does not sound correct. Hold on a second.
Yeah, this is Zoom.
And the jail does a nice job of preparing these first appearance forms for us, but they may have been using old information.
Look at all the defendants. So you have all these defendants. Like if you look at this bottom left screen, you can see the general overview of the courtroom. You have three large males. Like big burly guys. Just big dudes. And then you have this 5'0" 120-pound girl. I mean, you ever look at stuff and you're like, it's just weird.
So I do find probable causes to count 1 first-degree murder, count 2 aggravated child abuse, and count 3 is failure to report death of a person with intent to conceal the death or alter the evidence or circumstances surrounding such death. I did review the indictment yesterday, and bond there is no bond on count 1. On count 2, it's $25,000, and on count 3, it was $5,000. And Mr. Politis, I can, if you'd like, today I can either arraign her on those new charges, or we can set that court date out.
Judge, in the abundance of caution, we do have hearing time before Your Honor and some other motions. I'd like to see if we can piggyback both the arraignment as well as my motion to reinstate the original bond, and maybe we can do all that at that hearing time that we already have set.
Let me see if I have Michelle here on Zoom. Michelle, I know we had some hearing time set aside. I think it was at the end of this month.
Yes, ma'am, on April 21st.
All right. So do we have enough time to also arraign and handle any other additional issues we may need to?
Yes, ma'am.
We'll do that then. All right. So we're just handling the first appearance this morning.
Yes, ma'am. I'll mark the calendar. Thank you.
And Miss DeMaggio, is that the correct pronunciation?
DeMagello.
DeMagello. Hold on. And it usually takes me about 3 times to get it right. So
The first degree unaliving had no bond. So the other ones had $25K and $5K. But the first degree unaliving did not have a bond.
about the 3rd time I see you, I should be getting it. All right. Thank you very much. Is that anything else, gentlemen, I can do this morning for you?
No, Your Honor.
Not from the state judge.
All right. Ma'am, thank you very much.
Your Honor, that's all my business before the court. May I be excused?
Yes, sir.
Have a good rest of your day, Your Honor.
You as well. Mr. Urbanek, you have any further business, or are you good to go?
No, Judge, may be excused as well.
You may. Thank you.
Her lawyer looks competent. So that was her first appearance. It's usually always pretty quick. However, her second appearance is here. Yeah, this one's in the courtroom. This one's still quicker. We're going to make it 1.25 speed just so we get through it just a little bit faster.
We're here in case number 2026, CF 204, State versus DeMagello. And counsel, if you could please all identify yourselves for the record.
Mary Novell from the defense. Michael Blythe on behalf of
All right. And so, just look at something here real quickly. So I think we're here today on a motion to reinstate bond. Was there not another motion that was also set?
Ron, to the best of my knowledge, prior to Mr. Delgado appearing as announcing his co-counsel, we had a motion to determine indigency, and then a motion for modification in the quote to grant the RO to allow Mr. McGill to travel to Volusia County for school or for medical.
So I believe then we need to hear the motion on the indigency. Has she filed an affidavit?
Yes, Your Honor, I attached it as an exhibit to my motion.
I have voice boost on.
Madam Clerk, is it made into the court file?
Thank you.
Judge need-
All right, so, if I have an order,
The judge needs to get rid of that center part. Right now, she's so skinny that she's giving me Lynette vibes. It's creepy. Like, look at her back here with the glasses. Isn't she giving you like a younger version of Lynette vibes? It's creepy. It's so creepy. I'm just saying.
all right, thank you.
Like, no.
All right, so, if I have an order on that, I can sign off on that, take care of that issue.
I will prepare the order and forward it to the state for approval and then submit it to the court.
Thank you.
And Judge, not to ask the court what to do, would you prefer that we go ahead and do the arraignment on the indictment first before we get started?
I think that might be a good idea. All right, do you waive the formal reading?
Yes.
All right, and
Letter of update on it.
thank you. When is our next pretrial date? I would imagine that would be set for May 20th. May 20th? Okay, that'll be at 1:30.
Your Honor, may I appear at the podium?
You certainly may. Thank you.
I filed a motion to reinstate the original bond of $250,000 with the special conditions that were previously imposed by the court. I sent a copy to the state, but I had an interesting conversation. I spoke to the bondsman
Wait,
and,
did he just say May 20th, right? May 20th? Like, they did say May 20th, right? I'm not crazy.
they already put a special.
May 20th?
Because
Okay, that'll be at 1:30.
Your Honor, may I appear at the podium?
You certainly may. Thank you.
am I losing it or is May 20th? It's
I filed a
Saturday.
motion to reinstate the original bond of $250,000 with the special conditions that were previously imposed by the court. I sent a copy to the state, but I had an interesting conversation. I spoke to the bondsman and, they are in a position to.
Okay, May 20th is the next hearing, but look at the calendar. Am I nuts? May 20th is a Saturday. Am I missing something? Or does this court do court on Saturdays? Or is no, okay, never mind, May 20th. Why is my computer being weird? My 20th, my computer literally said May 20th was okay, that was in June. Holy crap. Laura Owens has a case management conference that same day, so it should be interesting. I will. Give me 1 second. I am just writing in here May 20th at 1:30. I was losing my mind for a second. I had a moment. I was looking at something and I was like looking at a 20th and I was looking at June. I just had a moment where I was like, am I going nuts? And apparently, yeah, you talked about Mr. Beast and the YouTube overlords are messing with you. Yeah, that's what it is. Oh my goodness.
Reinstate the original terms, and then someone from the GPS monitoring company also contacted me and said we can accommodate the court's needs. Not a very long-winded argument, Judge. Nothing has really changed other than the first degree murder indictment. She's not a danger to the community, she's not a flight risk, she's a she still has medical needs to attend to, she still has counselors and doctors to evaluate and things like that. She just turned 21, and in fact, the day of her surrendering herself, when I got a call from the state, that was the first grade. So, freedom of position is first degree, it has changed. But this young lady hasn't. And she still has a lot of defenses, she still pursues innocence, including guilty, a whole host of constitutional protections. And my common sense argument to the court is we should not be punitive at this stage.
He really sucks.
We should focus more
He's not
on
microphone.
mitigating the merits of the state's prosecution and also the defenses that will be forthcoming as we consider the development. For another 6 months, a year. We're hoping the court will recognize that and that the court previously, based on all the factors that I argued to Your Honor, we determined that she was not a court concluded. The judicial notice. She's not a danger to the community.
Was that not a second degree felony as to which she was entitled to bond?
Yeah, that's what's changed. Yeah, no question. I can see that and I acknowledge that. But again, under the former charges, These were a surprise to me. I thought there were going to be some additional felony charges to dovetail the felony murder. This is something that is unexpected. And I'm a little closer to this. I might as well air everything I have. I'm a little frustrated. I'm a little frustrated on behalf of her family. We had to pay out $25,000 knowing that, okay, we can do that. But had we known that the state was going to go in front of the grand jury, see the first degree murder, I would have never filed a motion. It would have been a no-brainer. I really was caught in a very embarrassing situation with my client and with her family. Listen, I'm not here to accuse the integrity of the state. And you're very good people, and I have a lot of respect for the state of Minnesota, so I'm not here to chastise them, you know. So I'm asking the court to reinstate the bond. You can put additional terms and conditions, whatever you see fit. But inherently, that young lady hasn't changed one bit since the last time we were here on this motion. Actually, more on this motion, it was on the state's pre-trial detention motion. So those are my arguments for the court. We ask the court to reinstate the original bond on the terms and conditions.
Thank you. Mr. Bennett, sir.
Just first, I'm asking court to take additional notice of the testimony this court received on the morning of Thursday, March 12th, from Detective Shannon Smith from Flagler County Sheriff's Office.
Yes, sir.
The state's position is that things have changed. The indictment was returned by a grand jury, charging the defendant with, among other things, first-degree murder under both theory of premeditated murder as well as felony murder. That's a capital offense in the state of Florida. The defendant is no longer legally entitled to a bond if the proof is evident and the presumption is great. Now, I look for case law about reinstating bond after an indictment or an information has been returned, which is the charges.
As did I, Mr. Bennett.
And I did find, I don't know how relevant it would be, but I did find one case from 1933. And it's simply for the premise, Your Honor, that. You got books that one? It's an old one, but it appears to be good law. It's simply for the premise that once a capias or information, or sorry, an indictment or information is issued, and the capias is issued on that indictment or information, it's then up to the issuing court to send that capias to set a bond on the new capias. So it's really not as simple as reinstating a former bond of aggravated manslaughter, but it's more about this court issuing a bond on the capias and indictment for first-degree murder. Again,
So basically you're saying this case, what you're telling me is this case is saying that, I would not be, even if I were to, set bond at $250,000, I wouldn't be able to reinstate, and they would be able to use the original funding that they did on the original bond.
I don't believe so, Your Honor. I don't believe they can, because again, it's a different charge, and it's under a new indictment in the cases that keep you from that indictment. That's why I bring up the Arthur issue, because under Arthur, the defendant is no longer legally entitled to be bonded out.
And that's why I was curious if you.
This literally just happened March 5th. So we don't have a lot of information yet. There's been a lot of stuff, but even their motions to dismiss and her confession is like one page. It is so confusing. Stephen, this is a trigger warning case. This is a college student who is accused of unaliving her newborn baby. It's just so weird. It is just, we will watch the sheriff's, we will watch the sheriff's press conference on it and see what details he gives. It's just, it's just weird. Like, it is just so weird. Yeah, they have it. That's why we're going to do this. And then those are for the next, but we have them. They're only one page. A motion to dismiss is only one page. Not even Carroll County, Georgia writes motions that short. I'm not familiar with this case, but did she do it? I don't know. Like I said, this case is only a month old. This is brand new. This is only her second court appearance. This happened, the date of the alleged crime was April 5th. At a certain point, at a certain point when you find a newborn baby's body, there's DNA that's going to tie it back to you because you made that child. So it's going to be very hard to prove that she didn't do this, considering you can't say, well, that's not my child. You're literally, if you're the mother, there will be signs that you have recently given birth. This is the thing that makes Laura Owens even less credible in anybody's eyes, is because even after like the termination of a pregnancy or after you give birth, your hormones are not back to normal yet. Your blood level and blood volume is not back to that of a normal human being. The position of your organs, because your uterus had to grow, which pushed everything else, mainly your bladder and your lungs and your kidneys, out of the way. So it had room. That they don't just go back to their normal position overnight. There will be signs that someone was recently pregnant even after they gave birth. Not to mention that if that is your child, there is a DNA link. So this is what makes that person in Arizona even less credible, because the body changes biologically. It's just, oh my goodness. Well, if you look at the bond motion, it could hint at her potential future defense. Yeah.
But found in case law on that specific issue with respect to the facts of this specific case, because I also did some research and was not successful in finding anything. I think Arthur is what the court is required to follow. The state has, at the original hearing, certainly met its burden with respect to proof of guilt. Proof of guilt is evident, presumption of guilt is great, and I think that of course favors pretrial detention. And this is a capital case, and I know that the family knows this because they're represented by two fine defense attorneys. Is that if in fact she's ultimately found guilty, if she goes to trial, she's looking at spending the rest of her life in prison. I mean, this changes things. The indictment certainly changes things. And I appreciate Mr. Politis' common sense argument.
Not a pretty thing anyway.
Law isn't always common sense.
Can I say this any further argument?
There's only one penalty if found guilty, and that's life in prison in this case, if that's as charged. And the court does in fact find the state has met its burden. With respect to the findings that were made at the original hearing, that was based upon an aggravated manslaughter charge. The stakes are certainly much, much higher in this case. The state hasn't presented anything to the court other than what was at that prior hearing. Is there anything else that the court that the state would like to present, or are there any other facts that have come to light? All right, so the defense's motion to reinstate the original bond is respectfully denied. I will cite to the Supreme Court of Florida, 1933 case 109, Florida 286. But more importantly, this is a capital felony, and again, denied. That makes the other motion moot, of course. Anything else? And Mr. Politis, I know that I set the pretrial date for May 20th. I don't mind setting it out a little bit further, but I would just need a waiver of speedy, but I'll leave that up to you what you'd like to do.
We will file that waiver of speedy trial, and we agree with judicial comment with all the other parties. June.
I was thinking June,
Then I
absolutely.
have one more matter for the court. Judge, I have counseled with my client, with her family, and I am blessed to have a relationship with Mr. Delgado. I would request that you allow me to officially withdraw as co-counsel. I will assist in everything I can, but two alpha males in this courtroom, we're gonna drive you nuts, Judge. So it's best just to have one, and Mr. O'Bannon for the state But I asked the court to grant my request as well, full counsel.
And Ms.
Delgado primarily responsible, exclusively responsible.
All right, and I've obviously worked with all of you all before. It was always a pleasure working with you, Mr. Clyde. I'm happy to see Mr. Delgado on board, but yes, sir, you are officially, your request is granted. And any other business we can take care of today?
We can also just standard, we don't have about calls.
I mean, I don't. I mean, I think early on, no, but as the case probably gets closer, yeah, I would want to see in person.
There's any scheduling or something that you discuss, of course.
And the same certainly for Mr. Delgado. I don't need you guys here if things are moving along as they should.
In the beginning, I think we have such a story that we made to do the motion before we get to the point where we start carving out time. There's hundreds plus episodes that you're in, so it will take as long as.
Well, and what I'm hoping as well is the case is still very early on. I've got excellent counsel on both sides, and I know y'all will communicate with one another, and we'll see where this takes us. And you as well, sir. All right. Thank you all very much. This hearing is concluded.
Oh, look, that's what 2 defense attorneys and a prosecutor who are all professional and a judge who's professional all look like. What a refreshing case. I mean, I know this is a trigger warning case and a really hard subject to talk about, but to see 3 attorneys and a judge who are all professional all at one time. Where the hell has this been for like the last 2 years? Can you link the birthday wish list for Baby Squid? I will. It is right. It is right there, and I will put the. I will get the link in a second. So we do have that. All the documents. These documents are like super quick because they're like 1 page. I just have, when I open up everything, I have 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, 7, 8, 9, 10 windows open. So like things get a little weird. I'm going in chronological order. So this is a statement of particulars that was asked for by Aaron Delgado, which was the guy in the gray suit, the bald guy. And I'm assuming that was bald by choice because he looked like he had shaved his head. That didn't look like he just lost his hair. Motion for particulars pursuant to Rule 3.14 Florida Rules of Criminal Procedure. Move this honorable court to direct the state attorney to furnish the undersigned counsel with a statement of particulars as to each count of the information, specifying the following. 1, the exact place, date, and time of the commission of each and every offense charged in the information. Whether the defendant is charged with the actual commission of the offense or whether he is charged as the principal in the first degree for either aiding, abetting, counseling, hiring, or otherwise procuring the commission or aid of offense. If the defendant is charged as a principal, state name and address of the persons who actually committed the offense. So, and Aaron Delgado seems to be like how I would be if I was an attorney. I want this, I want this, I want this, and I want to move on. Like, I don't, he seems like a man of few words. I just don't want to make a presumption without knowing the facts because I have known those who lost their baby in a toilet delivery because they didn't know they were in labor. This one sounds like more of a she knew it. There has been rumors that she had, and we are going to watch the press conference from the sheriff here in a minute to see what information he gives us. But I will give you guys a new Amazon link. It has been said to me that She Googled Casey Anthony. And if you're Googling Casey Anthony, you know you're pregnant. I'm just a thought. If you were Googling Casey Anthony and all of a sudden you end up with an unalived newborn baby, odds are, here's the link that sometimes Amazon changes. Oh boy. Hey Spawn, how are you? I did kind of, there's some stuff in general for the house on there. But there's a couple things for her. I have to keep going. I have to keep updating it for her. So it's a thing. However, let's close this. I'm trying to close the tabs as I go so that I don't confuse the ever-loving crap out of myself. Because that has been known to happen. I don't. Yeah. And if you're Googling a woman that got away with what I believe, my opinion is that Casey Anthony got away with doing that because she had a damn good lawyer. However, when you're Googling someone whose child was unalived around the same time that you have an unalived child, I don't believe in coincidence. It's just a thought. So here is his motion to dismiss. And you want to see a quick as hell, straight to the point motion to dismiss? This has to be the absolute shortest motion to dismiss I have ever seen in my life. It's one page. Defendant respectfully moves this honorable court to dismiss the information filed herein and to extend the time with each filed defensive motions. As grounds, therefore, the defendant would allege the information filed in this cause fails to state an exact date, time, and place and commission of the offense. I mean, hey, common sense, how are you? The information filed in this cause fails to state the essential facts constituting the offense charged. The information herein is vague and indefinite in violation of 3.14b. Defendant cannot prepare his defenses thereto. Not a bad. I mean, because these are all the documents, and if this is all we have, this is all the defense has. That's the other problem with, the information filed is so ambiguous that the defendant may be subjected to double jeopardy or duplicitous prosecutions. I can't believe I got that word out in the first try. The information filed in this case fails to state or charge an offense over which this court has jurisdiction. This is just fucking bullshit to me. This one, yeah, makeup is a wonderful thing, common sense. I mean, why can't Nestor be this short? Because Nestor likes to hear herself talk. Also, when you get nervous, you talk a lot. Most people. You do two things when you get nervous. You either talk too much or you talk too little. Nestor's problem is I think she gets nervous that she's on camera and she talks too much. The information filed in this case is not based upon sworn testimony from a material witness. The information filed in this case is not supported by facts sufficient to establish a prima facie case of guilt to the offense charged. The information filed in this case is based upon facts that support the defendant's immunity from prosecution. Aaron Delgado. I don't really want to talk about Aaron Delgado in this case because I would never ask anybody to talk about current cases. I just have questions for Aaron Delgado. So not like he will ever see this, but if anybody in Daytona, Florida knows Aaron Delgado. My phone's almost dead. Can I have a hug? Okay. Kisses? I love you. Oh, thank you. Hey, Shenny. Queen told me about this case yesterday. My question is, what's going on with society? People missing kids being PG. You got one in Texas who was a cheerleader too. Yeah. I don't know. I just have questions. Because most attorneys in any motion ever filed are long-winded as hell. I have never in my life, and be it I've only been reading documents for a few years now, like 3. I in my life have never seen a 1-page motion to dismiss an unaliving charge. This is straight to the effing point. 8 sentences. Dismiss these charges, and this is why. I just have questions on why you write like that. How you write like that. Has it worked in the past? How did your writing start? Like, I have personality questions, psychology questions of how, totally off topic from anything legal. But in all of the legal documents I've ever read, you've seen these things are like 20 pages, 15 pages, sometimes hundreds of pages long. This is 1 page. It's, there's something that always happens in a stream that you just can't wrap your head around. I found it for this one. So the motion to reinstate the original bond, what they were talking about in this hearing is this document. It's 2 pages. Honestly, though, 2 pages for maybe they don't want to spend a lot of money defending her. That's I wasn't going to ask that question directly if I ever talked to him, but the question of, is this how you usually write? Kind of would be going to that same thing in the sense of, if this is not how you normally write, why did you choose to write like this here? Would be a follow-up question. All right, motion to reinstate the bond, which they did not. So this was denied. Defendant Ann DeMeglio has no criminal record. She has not exhibited aberrant behavior in the past. It's a preliminary opinion that the defendant suffers from severe postpartum psychosis and depression. The reason why I thought this was bull crap was if she delivered straight into the toilet and her baby drowned, that is not postpartum depression. As just like with the legal process, you got to be specific with your words, and words have loopholes, and timing is everything, and specific words are mean specific things. Postpartum means after she gave birth, not as you're giving birth. Severe postpartum psychosis, I would have to do my research on that, but severe postpartum psychosis doesn't happen the second you give birth. It might be after, like, oh my God, I just did that to my baby. Now I'm going to freak out and have a psychotic episode and get rid of the body. I can see it for that charge and that charge only. But to deliver and drown your baby, that is not psychosis. That's not psychosis, and that's not postpartum depression. Yes, a baby can, yeah. Defendant has already surrendered her passport, has acknowledged to the court she will attend all pretrial hearings. So did Sarah Boone. Defendant has no means or access to money for travel, nor has any desire to leave the area. Her intent is to stay with and remain with her family and support network. She has mental health appointments as well as physical appointments in the near future, which she must attend for both her health as well as a preparation for her defenses. Other grounds to be argued or tenuous. Yep, that was denied. Okay, so this was like, yeah. This was a page and a half. Like, y'all, are you normally writing like this? And those are two, I'm assuming, very expensive defense attorneys. Those are not, even though she's indigent, or she filed for indigent status. Y'all, this is where it gets interesting too. These are the shortest documents I swear I've ever read on this stream, and that's why we're going through all of them. Because here's the motion to suppress confession and admission. 2 paragraphs, 3 paragraphs. Pursuant to Florida Rule of Criminal Procedure 3.190H, defendant respectfully requests this court to suppress any and all confessions, admissions, and statements made by, and this has to be a copy and paste made by him in connection with the offense he is charged with, because your client is a female, bro. Like, your client is a female. In connection with the offense which he is charged in this case, grounds therefore what the defendant would show the above specified confession statements and admissions obtained from the above named defendant were obtained illegally and contrary to law in violation of defendant's right to self-incrimination. Fifth Amendment, U.S. Constitution, Article 1, Section 9 of the Florida Constitution. I mean, it is possible. I don't personally understand how it happens, but hey. Yeah. That's where one of the counts come in. That's where concealing or failing to report the death of a person. But she's also being charged with first-degree unaliving and child abuse. So she's being charged with, proofread. If you're going to copy and paste, proofread it. He's copying and pasting in case law. They usually say, well, that's not even copying and pasting. Like, that first paragraph, that should describe your situation with your defendant, not the, hey, Stacy, how are you? She's 120 pounds according to the arrest affidavit. But, it's the thing. It's the thing. I don't know. It's one of those situations where you look at it and you're just like, why? There are plenty of people in this world who cannot get pregnant and would absolutely would have loved to adopt that baby. Yeah, super bad joke. Really bad timing. Hey, Tammy. It's just a weird situation. So we have the Flagler County Sheriff, and then we have more of that video where we watch the body cam. They go into the more of the search history, but we'll see what the sheriff had to say. Maybe if my YouTube will. What is with YouTube, man? One day they work great, 1 second they work great, and the next minute it's like, we don't want to work anymore. Let me put Which can go a little bit faster. There we go. And I put closed caption on for you. I know a couple, they have a nice place and money and they've been trying to have a baby, but no luck. I also no. And if you've been in my chat for longer than a day, you also are aware of a couple who is trying to have a baby. And they are a lovely couple. And so far they've had not a lot of luck. Just due to some medical stuff. So I'm sure there are plenty of people who would love to have had that baby. And Stacy, thanks for the 5 Squid Proco memberships. I appreciate you so very much. I identify as an attack helicopter so the your promise could stand. All right. How is there no audio? Hold on. How is there no audio? Let me stop this and try it again. Let's close it out and reopen it from here because it's playing. There is sound, but it's low. Let's try it again. All the way up. Let's go voice boost. There we go. And I'm putting closed captioning on. I'm going to try to stay as you're going to have to reboot. It's not me. Let's see. Share screen. Let's try this again.
Gillo had sent messages to the caller stating that she had secretly been pregnant and unexpectedly gave birth at home. The messages indicated that DiMaggillo's baby was born alive and crying, but that DiMaggillo had done something to the infant. When deputies arrived on scene, they met with DiMaggillo. She was a little hesitant to speak at first, and then she advised them that she had been pregnant and delivered the baby and led them to a shallow grave in the backyard. During the investigation and detectives conducting interviews, DiMaggillo told them that she had delivered a baby in the toilet. The child had been crying initially. She then had walked away and returned, and the child had stopped crying and moving. At that
So according to this, what she had told family, she delivered in the toilet and walked away. Like, what the she knew she was pregnant. And now I understand why they want admissions and confessions. She may not have confessed to police, but she confessed to her family. Oh, this is infuriating. This is so infuriating. So sometimes there's not words to describe. She walked away. The child had stopped, and she came back, and the child had stopped crying and moving. Well, that's because it was in a toilet and probably was drowned. Just a thought. It did for me, but I didn't see baby squid until like 3. I was the last person to see her because she went to the NICU. So I was the last person to see her, and I was very pissed. I was getting updates from a friend of mine who worked in the NICU who was texting me.
At that point, she hid the infant in a duffel bag in her closet and went about her normal daily routine. She went to her college, did a performance at a theater, and then returned back to the home. At that point, she determined that she needed to bury the child. This was at approximately 10 p.m. last night. At that point, she then buried the child in a shallow grave in the back. She is currently detained and will be charged with aggravated manslaughter of a child.
I personally don't understand. I have heard it happen before. I just personally don't understand how, because like I knew early, super early. So I understand that it does happen, and I'm not saying it doesn't. However, I don't understand how it happens, because that could have never been me. When shit changes, shit changes. So, but she knew. She knew. She even told her family she knew. So, yeah, it's unbelievably sad.
The investigation is still ongoing with the medical examiner, interviews. We're able to tell you that the child was a female, weighing approximately 3 pounds, and was 3 pounds, 6 ounces, and 18.7 inches long. Under Florida's safe haven law, parents who cannot care for a newborn may safely surrender the child to any fire station, hospital, or police station, which obviously is something we encourage anyone to do. Palmco Safe Haven Baby Box allows for complete anonymity and is located at Fire Station 25, which was activated on September 30th, 2025. Parents can quietly and safely place their newborn inside the secure, climate-controlled box without having to interact with anyone face-to-face. As I stated, the investigation is still ongoing, trying to figure out every aspect of it. But if anyone has any information, they're encouraged to call the sheriff's office at 386-313-4911. Does anyone have any questions?
Still longer than my daughter. So 0.2 inches longer than baby squid. But safe haven. There's a box. You can take child to fire station. They have places. I'm pretty sure if she went to the hospital, they would take the child. No questions asked. Percentile and healthy, because if a child is under a certain size, generally their lungs and their organs are not developed. If they are over a certain size, generally speaking, their lungs are fully developed, their stomach, their heart, their brain is fully developed as far as safe to give birth and live outside a woman's body. That is why. But it does sound like they are, it does sound like we're describing a fishing tournament. Got a big one.
I'm sorry, say that again?
Anyone knows she was pregnant?
According to her, no. She said she wasn't even sure she was pregnant until she gave birth.
Can you describe the nature of the welfare check call? Did it come in saying it was about her, right? Or
She had sent messages on social media to someone else saying that she had given birth to a baby and done something with it. So that person called us.
Why is this manslaughter and not murder?
Because of the fact that as of now preliminarily, we can see that the baby was born and left. She did not make any other actions to inflict harm on the baby.
Sir, I'm trying to understand this. You're saying she didn't know she was pregnant?
That's according to her, yes.
Was the baby?
If I can continue. And then, can you explain this again?
That's her statement.
This woman is like, what? You can tell this reporter who's asking these questions is a parent. You can tell she's a mother, because she's like, are you saying she didn't know she was pregnant? What? What? Like, ugh.
That she was unaware she was pregnant, and she had been having some pains. She thought it were period cramps, some issues, and then she gave birth to the child. That was her statement.
And why didn't she take care of the child, do something? Did she explain why she put the baby in a duffel bag?
No,
Was the
that's a
father-
question I have too.
Was the father aware of the pregnancy?
According to her, no.
What do you think about this?
It's tragic for the child, for everyone, and it baffles me. I can never imagine being able to do that. I'm right there with you. I don't understand a lot of the answers she had, but that is what she said has occurred. And
The sheriff is like, you're asking me these questions. I have absolutely no idea why anybody does half the shit they do, let alone why this woman, here, sheriff, I will translate for you. I have no idea why this woman did any of the shit she did, or why 90% of the people who I deal with do any of the stupid shit they do, but yet here we are.
that's where we're at with the investigation. Obviously, we're going to keep going, keep conducting interviews with everyone involved and see if we can come up with more answers. But right now, all we have to go on is her statements.
So the baby died as a result of the abandonment?
That is what it appears, yes.
Was it premature or was it?
I can't tell you if it was premature or how far along she was, but I can give you the weight was 3 pounds, 6 ounces, 18.7 inches long.
And you said classes. Was she a college student, high school student?
It appears, yes, at one of the local colleges.
Oh, college student. When you said she went to college?
I believe it was Daytona State College.
And who was in the house? Who else was in the house?
Only her mother.
The father is at sea?
I'm unaware of where the father is, but we still need to actually speak to him, so I don't want to go too in detail with that.
Does the baby have a name? Give it a name?
No.
Sir.
She's like, oh my God, I'm so sorry. I don't mean, like, this is where we have dark humor to cope with some of this stuff. But that reporter asked, did the baby have a name? If she says she didn't know she was pregnant, delivered a baby in a toilet, stuffed a baby in a duffel bag, buried the baby in a backyard, do you really, really think that she would have taken the time to name it? Because to name something, makes it human, makes it personal. If something is nameless, it's just another object. If you name it, it's real. Think about that. Like, even people who own, side note, but you have pets. You own chickens, for example. You name your chickens. It makes them more like a pet than an animal used for food or, eggs or meat. It becomes a part of the family. So if you attach a name to this baby, may it rest in peace, it becomes real to her. She didn't want that, in my opinion. And when you stuff a baby in a duffel bag, you obviously don't want it. You can't attach a name to it. So that was the dumbest question on the history of the planet.
How did she act?
Oddly calm. But I can't, everyone expresses grief and everything in their own way, so I can't say the reasoning, but I watched some of the interview and I didn't see any remorse.
You described it as a shallow grave. How deep is shallow, and is the baby going to get a proper burial after the investigation?
As far as the grave, deputies only had to remove, I'd say maybe 4 to 5 inches of dirt to discover the baby. As far as the rest, we're just not there yet.
Was the baby wrapped in anything?
No, sorry. A towel? Wrapped in a towel.
It was on the property itself?
Yes.
There's backyard?
Behind a fenced-in area in the backyard to the side of the house.
I just want to clarify the welfare check that was prompted by a call from a friend.
The person she messaged saying she had given birth to a baby, and
Did you characterize that person as a friend of hers?
we still need to speak to them, so I just don't want to go too into depth with that.
And that was a friend who called and for the welfare check.
Correct.
The mother. Can you tell us what she was doing, her role? I mean, did she, when they come to the house?
She was just a little reluctant to speak to deputies, but she was a little nervous, but nothing you would expect in a situation like this. Other than that, like I said, I was there for a lot of the interview, and it was just oddly calm.
We understand this may have been a relative's house. Was there anyone else in the house with her yesterday, today?
I believe I already answered that. It was only mom in the house today.
Do you believe anyone else might be implicated after the fact?
No, everything we have points to no one else having any knowledge that she was even pregnant.
Can you say anything else about the cause of death?
No, that's still a medical examiner still determining that.
And I just want to be clear, the baby was born yesterday, I wasn't sure.
According to her, the baby was born over 24 hours ago. Approximately 10 p.m. last night, is when she returned home and buried the child.
During that time, where was the mother? When
Her?
was left alive and she left,
Mhm.
where was the mother? Where, not her, the older, you know.
We still need to finish our interview with her and see where her whereabouts were, but according to and the child was in a duffel bag in the closet, so she probably wouldn't even seen it, but I can't speak exactly where she was at this point. We still need, like I said, this is very active. There's still a lot of interviews, but we want to make sure we got the information out.
Describe the property, and could anybody have seen any of this activity happening?
Not in dark. I mean, you'd have to be on their property.
Do you know how much time elapsed from the time she gave birth when she came back to the bathroom?
What time did she say about that she had given birth?
It's about the middle of the night on Thursday. And then she came back the next.
It's about 24 hours. Yeah. About 24 hours, the time between the time child being born and her burying.
Sir, can you give us the suspect's name again, please?
Her name is Anne Mae DiMaggillo.
How do you spell that, please?
ANNE, and it's MAE. Last name is DEMEGILLO. She's 20 years old.
If you didn't take it to the hospital.
21 now.
We still have her in custody, and we're going to follow our protocol before she gets actually charged and booked into the jail.
Any prior criminal history with her? Any prior mental health issues that the sheriff's office is aware of?
Not that I'm currently aware of, but we're still looking into all that.
She puts the time lapse between the actual birth and her coming back to the bathroom and finding the child.
I'm pretty sure I made some sounds that I'm pretty sure you could hear me outside the hospital.
I think it was.
She remained inside the bathroom. Okay. She watched the child die.
So initially, she watched the child.
I'm sorry.
So I apologize. That changed during the investigation. She watched the child until the child stopped breathing and moving.
She watched the child?
Yes.
So, I'm sorry.
No, I understand. Trust me.
She goes to the bathroom.
Mhm.
I'm sorry.
She goes to the bathroom. She thought she just had cramps, pains, and then she goes into labor and delivers a child. She sees it in the toilet, leaves it there, watches it, hears it cry, and waits until it stops crying and moving.
You watched your baby die?
That's what it appears. So yes. Yes.
And that's where the upgraded first degree comes in. That's
She
true.
watched the child until the child stopped moving, crying, and breathing.
At any point from when you started talking to her to now as we're speaking, has she shown an acknowledgement of the gravity of the charge against her of what happened?
And just want to make it aware, this interview is still ongoing in other areas, so things have changed. Has she? I know when I watched, she had not shown any remorse. Did that change, Sergeant?
Generally, no.
No.
Did you try to justify it or rationalize it?
No, and I don't want to go into details of the investigation, but I know at one point they did have a question about that, and she didn't express anything.
Was
No.
she forthcoming about?
So she was 20. She just turned, her birthday is 4/8/2005. So she literally just turned 21 between the time it happened and now. So let's not. I'm sorry, Flash man. That's so funny. Oh, that's hilarious. Oh, I just on a bright note, we were waiting for a call today from Miracle Baby. Family member was 7 centimeters an hour ago. Awesome. Awesome. Yeah, she would have been, I mean, she's a competent adult. And having anxiety and depression doesn't stop you from knowing you're pregnant or knowing right from wrong. Oh, I really think they're going to try an insanity defense. This is going to be a hard one.
Everything.
This is also going to be one where we are going to have to use dark humor, and we are going to have to call her what she is, an egg donor, because girl just ruined the rest of her life. She was 20 years old. Now she's 21. She has no life left. I mean, innocent until proven guilty, but at the same time, you gave birth. That's your baby, your DNA. No one else was there. That's definitely a you thing. Hey, Florida Flipper, how are you? Oh,
Rhoda, you're just saying some details have changed. So is there anything that has changed over the course of your first interaction to what you know the last update to be?
Just the more details of what had occurred between her time being there and her actions. Because initially it was that she had left, but now she had said that she stayed there the entire time.
So I'm sorry, I'm gonna have to ask you again.
Of course.
Are you a father?
No.
Regardless, are you blown away by this?
Yes, because I have a niece and I can. Yeah, I can never do that, and it baffles me, to be completely honest.
baffles me
Sometimes you
too.
can't explain everything.
Because the identity of the father been established.
Yes, but
So it sounds like from this, she had texted somebody and said that she gave birth and what she did, and they called the police. So when they called the police, that's how they knew the general location. And obviously, less than 24 hours of it, digging a hole, you kind of can tell where something was dug up. So it shouldn't have been that hard to find. Even if she's acquitted, she's gonna have that shadow over her head for the rest of their life because she was accused. Yeah. Yeah, after hearing that, and we'll wait for obviously more facts because this is just initial, and as well as I do that even initial investigations and stuff like that, and when people say stuff, it may not always be accurate. There's always the innocent until proven guilty. Who knows? She might have had a mental breakdown. I don't know. We'll wait for more facts to come out, but right now, oh, Lord Chippy ain't even good enough for this chick. Like, yeah. Yeah, thank God. Yeah. Casey Anthony made out pretty good. Yeah.
we are not.
But it's not a family. It's not a member of the family.
Of who's her family? Not to my knowledge, but we're still working on that and notification as well.
Any timetable of when she might be processed and this warrant potential?
It's not. It's not a warrant. We're arresting her on a probable cause affidavit, but it should be later tonight. I would be no later than probably 10 p.m. unless there's, we have to do the proper, make sure she's medically cleared and everything, but should be tonight.
She has to be separated from
We'd have to see her criminal history and everything else that all goes into play.
Has it been established that she knows the difference between right and wrong?
Vaguely. Like I said, we had asked a question, and while she didn't show remorse, she went towards that. She knows it was wrong, and she should probably be held accountable.
She's a college student.
Correct.
So she graduated high school.
Mm-hmm. She spoke fine. She was able to hold a conversation. I mean,
surprised when your deputies went knocked on her door this morning?
Initially, I wouldn't say I was surprised. She was hesitant to speak and a little nervous, but she messaged someone some pretty serious details on social media. I mean, I would think when she sees law enforcement at the door, she probably has an idea what it's about.
Sir, you're talking about me?
Yes.
It's emotional.
Yes.
I saw you get a little emotional. Why?
That's a
Why
child. Anytime even an injury.
I saw you get a little emotional. Why? Why the F not? Because cops are people too. So, contrary to popular belief, there's people and they have emotions. We don't always have to like them, but they're people too. And sometimes they get emotional. Why did her computer records show she had a picture of Casey Anthony? That's the weird thing. And I'm waiting for evidence to come out of that because right now we have some law and crime stuff, but I don't, it's not that I don't trust law and crime, but like, if it's not in the documents, I'm hesitant to get.
Especially the death of a child occurs. It's sad. I mean, anyone, but especially a child, and just the details of this, and for someone to just stand there and watch this, it's that's tough. It's heartbreaking.
You know what high school she graduated from?
I do not. All right.
Is there anything else you'd like to add?
No, it's, like I said, if we get more details or if there are any other charges, we'll let you guys know. But that's all we have. Thank you.
name is Special Agent Lucas.
We're not gonna watch that. All right. Because it shows he's human. Yeah, it's just one of those things where you just look at stuff and you're like, why? Why would you do that? So we're coming up on the 2 hours, so we're gonna call it a day for this. We're not gonna push any of this topic past. No, it was a high school. It was trial of a high school shooting. But we are not going to push any of these streams past 2 hours because this is an extremely difficult topic. And unlike Mo, I don't have puppy and kitten breaks and little fun videos we just have dark humor and sarcasm and spiked lemonade. So we are just going to call it a day. However, next hearing is, I'm trying to use more of my electronic calendar versus my written calendar, because it just translates to all my devices and I don't have to I'm trying to use more electronic because it's right here instead of always trying to write stuff down. Even though I like writing stuff down, so it's taking some getting used to. Her next hearing is May 20th. It's a Wednesday. That's the same day as a Laura Owens hearing. Laura Owens has a hearing at 11:45. I believe that's 11:45. It's 8:45 Maricopa time. So either 10:45 or 11:45 Eastern. I'm not sure if Maricopa is Pacific or Mountain time. I don't know. However, same day as her. And then May 27th is Carly Gregg's Massachusetts, holy crap, Mississippi Supreme Court oral arguments in her appeal. So we have some things coming up soon. So Monday, I don't know if we are going to do members only Monday because we have some documents in Hales that I want to get through before the week. That we need to talk about. However, tomorrow night over on ETM, and this is if you don't subscribe to my other channel, please do. This is my OT and corrective exercise channel. We are doing movement tomorrow night. I keep saying Sunday night. Well, I keep wanting to say this Sunday, but today is Saturday. My weekend's all screwed up. So we are doing, and I'm going into my notes for it. Listening to your body isn't enough. So everybody says, listen to your body when it comes to respecting your pain and movement. But no one actually describes to you what that actually is. And we're going to kind of talk about that. So I will have that stream set up probably today. It will be 9 p.m. tomorrow. So it's after Jeremy Hales, right after Jeremy Hales. And I will see you guys on the next one. And remember, I told you so. And to those who have karma coming to them, have the day y'all deserve. To everybody else, have a great day, and I will see you on the next one. Bye.